Black SUVs line the street. Mother Catherine pulls back the lace curtain, heart thumping. Something is wrong. Soldiers in dress, blues form ranks on her lawn. Catherine clutches her Bible, eyes wide. Is this about Brian? The crowd parts. One officer walks alone toward her porch, cap in hand. He moves with a purpose she knows. He drops to one knee on her walkway and looks up. She covers her mouth with both gloved hands, tears spilling 30 years earlier. A man in a faded janitor's uniform climbed these same steps, holding a little boy.
Sister Catherine, I got the night shift at the school. I can't afford a sitter. Could you watch my boy?
Put your wallet away. The Lord provides. This child won't pay a dime.
She fed him cornbread that night, then knelt beside the cot in the corner and prayed.
Why you doing this, ma'am? My daddy says we don't have much.
Because God put you here, child, I am gonna make sure you grow up strong.
And so it went. Every weeknight for 9 years, Brian ate at Mother Catherine's table, while his father scrubbed floors at the school. Mr. Reeves moved through dark hallways. His mop, the only sound. Exhaustion hung on him like a coat, but he never missed a shift.
All right now, open your mouth. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
Again, every word. This psalm will walk with you when I can't.
He'd pick Brian up after midnight, hands raw from bleach, and whisper his thanks at the door before driving home.
He's safe. That's all that matters.
And so Brian grew up between two worlds, a school hallway and a church mother's kitchen.
Don't you ever forget what you learned in this house, Brian.
I won't, Miss Catherine. I won't forget.
5 years after he first came, Brian was 12 and still came every night. He knew Psalm 23 by heart, every word locked in.
Go on now, from the beginning.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
She nodded, a tear forming. Then she made him sit and do his homework.
You think this math is harder than what your daddy does every night? He ain't quit yet, and neither are you. Now finish.
I know, Miss Catherine. I am trying.
When he finished his homework, he'd dig out a crayon and draw soldiers on scrap paper, always with stars on their shoulders.
One day I'm gonna wear one of these.
Then you better know the Psalms, because a soldier without God is just a man with a gun. Remember that, Lord. Hold that boy close. His path won't be easy.
In 2003, Mr. Reeves collapsed in that same school hallway while mopping. By morning, he was gone, leaving Brian alone. At the cemetery, Brian held his father's keyring so tight the metal bit into his palm. He didn't cry.
I am enlisting, Miss Catherine. I am going to carry his keys with me through everything. I'll make the Reeves name mean something.
You carry more than keys, child. You carry a legacy of hard work and the prayers of this old woman. Go, and God go with you.
With her thumb, she traced a cross of oil on his forehead and whispered a prayer that had held her together for 60 years. Days later, Brian sat in the recruiter's office, pen in hand, his father's keyring on the table like a witness.
I want to be the best soldier I can be, sir.
You already are, Brian. You already are.
When the bus pulled away, Catherine stood on her porch and didn't move until the tail lights disappeared.
I'll keep the light on for you, baby. Just come back.
The first Christmas card arrived 6 months after he left. From a base in Iraq, handwriting steady, signed Brian.
He's still standing. His father would be proud. That boy hasn't forgotten.
She filed each one in her Bible, tying them with a ribbon, next to the old drawing of a soldier.
As long as the cards come, he's alive. As long as he's alive, I'll keep praying. Yes, I still pray for him every night. That boy was never far from my heart, but does he remember the psalm? Does he still believe?
At home, she'd pull out the crayon drawing, the soldier with a star on his shoulder, and trace the lines with her wrinkled finger.
He said he'd wear that star one day. I wonder if he ever did.
Sundays, she lit a candle in the quiet sanctuary and whispered his name.
Lord, bring him back safe. I'll keep the light on for him.
One Sunday after church, A friend pressed a newspaper into Catherine's hand. Brian's face stared back from a headline about a local soldier promoted to colonel.
Colonel? He made colonel and never told me.
Her fingers trembled as she read about his 4 deployments and medals. None of it sent directly to her.
Why didn't he write me himself? Has he forgotten where he came from?
She forced a smile for the church ladies, but the hurt lodged in her chest like a stone. That night, she knelt by her bed with her Bible open, the clipping between her shaking fingers.
Lord, I am grateful he's alive. But why do I feel so left behind?
She slid the clipping into her Bible, right beside the old crayon drawing of a soldier with a star.
He promised he'd wear that star one day. Now he has it, but he never came home to show me. Don't let him forget the psalm, Lord, and don't let me become bitter.
In his quarters overseas, Colonel Brian Reeves pulled a worn keyring from his footlocker.
These keys opened a school and a small house. They opened my future.
He closed his eyes and saw his father's hand passing him the keyring from a hospital bed.
If this promotion comes through, the ceremony won't be at a base. It'll be on a porch in Mobile. An old church mother raised me while my father mopped floors. She never took a penny.
The board members exchanged glances. Such a request was rare, but not unheard of for a man of his record.
The army gives me stars, but she gave me a soul. No one else pins it.
He carried his father's keyring through 4 deployments. Now it would witness the next step.
I promised her I'd make the Reeves name mean something. This star is hers as much as mine.
The promotion wasn't yet official, but Brian's decision was made. He would return. The phone rang on a Thursday afternoon. Mother Catherine wiped her hands on her apron and picked up the receiver, expecting another church dinner request.
Hello?
The voice on the other end was crisp, official. Ma'am, will you be at home this Saturday morning? We need to confirm a visit.
This Saturday? Yes, I'll be here. But who is this? Why do you need to know?
The voice only repeated, "Someone will be by, ma'am," and then disconnected. No name, no explanation.
No one official ever calls me. My heart is fluttering for a reason.
She phoned 2 church sisters, who speculated about military benefits or a census taker. None guessed Brian.
They just asked if I'd be home. It might be about Brian, but they didn't say.
That night, she couldn't sleep. She paced with her Bible open, her mind circling the call.
Lord, if it's your will, bring my boy home safe, or give me peace about whatever comes.
Saturday morning, Catherine slid on her lavender suit and wide-brim hat with trembling fingers. She dressed for church, but unease sat heavy in her stomach. She pulled back the lace curtain and froze. A convoy of black SUVs was lining the street. Neighbors were stepping onto their porches.
Oh, dear Jesus, what is this? Has something happened to Brian?
Soldiers in crisp dress blues marched onto her small lawn and began forming silent ranks. A flag detail unfurled the colors. A senior officer approached the porch, his face unreadable. Catherine stepped outside, her legs unsteady. "Ma'am, please wait here. Someone will be coming for you shortly." He gave her no more information.
Is it Brian? Is he? Please tell me.
The officer simply gestured toward the line of soldiers, and the crowd of neighbors parted down the middle.
My heart is beating out of my chest. Lord, whatever this is, hold me together.
She pressed the old Bible to her chest and waited, every second stretching like an eternity. The crowd of neighbors and officers parted like a slow tide, and from the gap, a tall officer in full dress uniform stepped forward. He moved with deliberate steps, his cap held at his side. The brass of his belt buckle caught the morning light.
That walk. I've seen that walk before, but it can't be.
As the figure drew closer, the face became clear. The same eyes, still holding a promise made 30 years ago.
Brian. Oh, my Lord, it's Brian.
Her gloved hands flew to her mouth. The Bible pressed against her chest, but she couldn't feel it. On his shoulder, a single silver star gleamed. Not the star of a colonel, but a general.
He did it. He wore that star just like he promised. But why is he here like this?
He did not smile. His expression was carved from something heavier, gratitude too deep for ceremony. He continued his measured walk, the only sound the crunch of his shoes on the concrete. Brian halted at the porch steps, his hand rising to remove his cap with a slow, deliberate reverence. Then, with a precision born from decades of drills, he lowered himself to one knee on the sun-warmed concrete.
What is he doing? He's a general. A general doesn't kneel. Not to me.
He looked up, his eyes brimming with tears, but he didn't speak. The silence held everything he couldn't say.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Brian.
Catherine's white-gloved hands pressed so hard against her lips that the fabric stretched. The soldiers stood at attention like statues. The flag detail held the colors perfectly still. The whole world waited.
This little boy I fed cornbread. Now a general on his knees before me. Lord, I don't understand.
And still, Brian knelt. His cap rested on the concrete beside him. His gaze never left hers. The air thickened. Nothing moved. Not Catherine, not Brian, not the flag. Just the weight of 30 years holding them there.
Mother Catherine, I told the army I would not take this promotion unless you were the one to pin the star. Every lesson, every prayer, every psalm you made me recite, it carried me through 4 deployments. You made me the man I am.
Oh, baby. I only did what the Lord asked of me. I am nobody special.
You are the only mother I had left. My father gave me his name, but you gave me my soul. Please do this for me.
How can I refuse him? He's carried my words across the world, and now he's brought them back to me.
Brian reached into his breast pocket and produced a small velvet box. He opened it, revealing the silver star of a brigadier general.
This star belongs on my shoulder, but it was earned by your hands. I won't wear it unless you put it there.
But my hands are shaking so much. I am not worthy of this honor, Brian.
Then let me steady them, just like you steadied me when I had nothing.
Catherine stared at the star, then at the man who had once been a boy drawing soldiers in her kitchen. The choice was hers.
No, this is too much. I just kept a child while his daddy worked. Anyone would have done the same.
No one else did, Mother Catherine. No one else came. You were the one. And you taught me that no good deed is small in God's eyes.
A single tear traced a path down Brian's cheek, catching the morning sun before it fell onto his starched collar. Catherine saw his vulnerability, the same little boy who had cried for his father, now a general with a broken open heart.
He's not just a general. He's still my boy. He came all this way. Not for the army, but for me.
Slowly, Catherine reached out and touched his face, her gloved fingers resting on the cheek of a kneeling general, as if he were still 12.
You were always stubborn, Brian Reeves. Just like your daddy.
Stubborn enough to survive 4 deployments, and stubborn enough to ask the only woman who ever believed in me to do this honor.
I told him a soldier without God is just a man with a gun. He came back a general with a psalm in his heart. Lord, forgive my doubt.
Catherine's trembling hand hovered over the velvet box. The silver star gleamed, waiting for the only hands Brian would ever accept.
If this is what you need, I'll do it. Lord, help my hands.
Her gloved fingers closed around the silver star and lifted it from the velvet, the metal cool even through the fabric. But her aging hands trembled so violently that the star wobbled in her grip, the pin catching the light in erratic flashes. She tried to position it on his shoulder, but the clasp snagged on the thick fabric of his uniform. She pulled back, a soft gasp escaping.
Together, like always.
Brian's hands, larger and steady, closed over hers, enveloping the trembling glove and the star within a warm, firm hold.
His hands are so steady, just like they were when he was a little boy clinging to my hand at church. He's still that boy.
Their eyes met, his looking up with absolute trust, hers wet and wavering, and in that silence, 30 years of love and sacrifice passed between them. She took a deep, shuddering breath. When she exhaled, her hands had stilled against his, or perhaps his will had become hers. She lined the silver star up with the pinpoint holes on his epaulette, the needle sharp and waiting. The world held its breath. With a final, steady push, She forced the needle through the epaulette and slid the clasp home. The safety catch snapped shut with a quiet click that seemed to echo across the silent lawn. Brian exhaled, a long breath that carried the weight of 4 deployments and 30 years of waiting. Catherine withdrew her hands and stared at the silver star, now shining on his shoulder as if it had always been there. She looked from the star to his face, and he nodded, mouthing a silent "thank you" through tears. Brian remained on his knee a moment longer, the silver star on his shoulder catching the morning light. Behind him, the formation of soldiers stood immobile. The flag detail held the colors still, the breeze barely stirring the fabric. Catherine pressed her hand to her chest, feeling her own heart hammer against the Lord's Prayer still tucked inside her glove. She did not speak. There were no words for the holy ground they were standing on. The officer who had led the formation stepped forward, waiting for command. The senior officer's command split the silence. Present, arms. In one motion, the soldiers snapped their salutes. Brian rose smoothly from his knee, turned to face his men, and returned the salute with precision born of 30 years. Then, breaking every protocol, he spun back toward the porch, his cap forgotten on the ground. Catherine barely had time to open her arms before he swept her into an embrace, her hat knocked askew. She laughed through tears as he held her, the lavender hat slipping, her gloved hands clutching his uniform.
You came home, baby. You came home.
I never left, Mother Catherine. You carried me through every battlefield.
The crowd on the street erupted. Neighbors, soldiers, officers, all cheering until the air itself seemed to shake. The silver star gleamed on his shoulder, pinned by the hands that had never asked for anything but his soul. And on that small porch in Mobile, a general cried in the arms of the woman who had made him a man. Brian raised his hand, and the cheering crowd hushed in an instant, all eyes turning to the porch.
This is Mother Catherine. She's been my mother for 30 years, though no blood ties us.
Catherine pressed a tissue to her eyes, her hat still askew, her heart too full to form a single word.
She never took $1, only fed me cornbread and the word of God. She's my other mother.
He called me his mother. Lord, you kept every promise.
There's a reception in the church basement down the road. Everyone here is invited to celebrate with us.
Catherine nodded, her smile finally breaking through the tears as she dabbed her cheeks dry. She took Brian's arm, and together they stepped off the porch, the crowd parting ahead of them. The crowd followed like a slow river, uniforms and Sunday suits weaving toward the little white church. Ahead, the church bells began to ring out over Mobile, as if heaven itself was applauding. The church basement was alive with laughter and the clinking of punch glasses. Brian never left Catherine's side.
There's something else I need to give you. Something I've carried through 4 tours.
He drew her into a quiet corner and placed a wooden shadow box in her hands. Catherine lifted the lid. Inside, mounted on velvet, was his father's janitor keyring, worn smooth by decades. Beside it, a silver star insignia gleamed. A small brass plaque bore an inscription.
2 things built me, your faith and my father's keys. These keys. I remember them in his father's hand every night, and now they're here with my prayers.
She clutched the box to her chest, her shoulders shaking with quiet sobs.
You gave me a foundation no rank could replace. I wanted you to see how far your faith carried me.
The 2 of them stood there, the keyring and the star side by side as the celebration hummed softly around them. Catherine tried to speak, but the words caught in her throat. For a long moment, she just held the shadow box.
Your father. He would be so proud of you. He loved you more than you'll ever know.
Brian's eyes welled up, and he pulled her into another embrace, his shoulders shaking. Around them, the crowd stepped back, giving them a circle of privacy, a sacred space, unnoticed. A teenager raised her phone and captured the moment. The old woman in lavender and the general in blue holding each other. That photo would travel further than anyone in that basement could imagine.
Lord, thank you for letting me see his face one more time. I can go in peace now.
She whispered the prayer into his uniform, her white gloves pressed against his back.
Don't talk about going anywhere. You've got more psalms to teach me.
You don't need me anymore, baby, but I'll always be your mother.
As the reception wound down, Brian straightened his cap and prepared to leave. Orders waited for no one. Catherine reached out and touched his arm, her eyes shifting to the worn Bible on a nearby table.
Before you go, there's something I need to hear.
Brian followed her gaze, a knowing smile touching his lips. He picked up the old leather-bound book without looking. He opened it to the Psalms and began to recite, his voice steady and clear.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
He continued through the familiar verses, the same ones she had taught him 30 years ago. Catherine closed her eyes, her lips moving silently along with his, a duet of faith across the decades.
He never forgot. My prayers weren't wasted.
When he finished, the silence held them, a sacred seal on the day. Catherine opened her eyes and cupped Brian's face with both gloved hands, her touch light as a blessing.
You've always been a good boy.
They shared a final, quiet look. Then Brian turned and walked toward the exit. Outside, the black SUVs were lined up, engines idling softly in the fading afternoon light. Brian walked backward toward the convoy, his eyes fixed on Catherine on the porch. He stopped, straightened, and brought his hand to his brow in a final, perfect salute. A single tear slid down Catherine's cheek as she raised her hand in a small wave.
Come back soon, baby.
Brian climbed into the SUV, and the convoy pulled away, leaving the street quiet and still. The street grew quiet, but the porch light flickered on as Catherine went inside, still smiling. Days later, a photo surfaced online and spread like a blessing. The image showed an elderly woman in lavender, clutching a shadow box, as a general in dress blues held her. The caption read, "A general star pinned by the church mother, who never asked for a penny." Tens of thousands of likes poured in. Comments overflowed with awe and gratitude. That moment, a black church mother and a brigadier general reminded the world of the power of quiet sacrifice. Brian had carried his father's keys through war. Catherine had carried his soul through prayer. On that small porch in Mobile, a debt 25 years old was finally paid, not in money, but in honor. And in churches across the South, people whispered her name like a psalm, because the greatest ranks are built on the quietest sacrifices. Fade to black.